Today I want to tell you about the most extraordinary project I've ever been a part of in my entire life. You may have seen the video I made a few months ago about my son, Logan. If you haven't seen it, you can click here to a link that'll show you kind of a little bit about his story. But Logan was diagnosed as a young lad as being on the autism spectrum. And we got him into a program at school that really helped him. He learned how to talk, learned how to be a little more attentive, didn't hit himself and punch himself as much. But he still had a real uphill battle. Was very, very afraid of loud noises, was afraid of crowds and strangers and fast-moving things and heights and all kinds of things. But when he was, I don't know, probably 5 years old, he started getting a fascination for roller coasters. And he would go onto YouTube and watch roller coaster POVs, right? For hours at a time, he would watch these, roller coaster videos. And I'm like, well, Logan, you're interested in roller coasters? We live right by Kings Island. Let's go ride some roller coasters. And he would say, no, are you crazy? Dad, they're high, they're fast, they're full of strangers, they're loud. Why would you even say it? I'm like, you're the one watching the roller coaster videos, dude. And he's like, no, I don't want to ride them. I just want to watch. And so he'd watch the videos. We'd go to Kings Island. He would watch the coasters. And he started memorizing the stats. He did this when he was 5, when he was 6, when he was 7. When he turned 8 years old, he could probably tell you almost every roller coaster in the world, the manufacturer, what year that it opened, what its maximum speed is, the height of its, the angle of its steepest hill, how many feet of track. It was astonishing, right? Like, hey, Logan, how tall, how long is Diamondback? 5,270. It was unbelievable. But he wouldn't ride. He was afraid to ride. And in fact, he went through a whole season at Kings Island where he would go over and he would sit in the test seat of a ride and would, put the restraint on. He would close his eyes. And he would watch the video replay in his mind of the POV. And he'd say, that was awesome. But I knew he wanted to ride. So I'd always try to encourage him. He never really wanted to. Well, one day when Logan was 8 years old, he said to me, it was a June day, and he said, Dad, I'm ready to be brave. And I said, okay, what does that mean? He goes, I want to ride a roller coaster. I said, all right, do you know which one? He said, yep, Snoopy's Flying Ace Aerial Chase at Kings Island. It's in Planet Snoopy. It's made by Intamin. It's an invert. It opened in 1991. He knew all the stats. All right, man, let's go. So we go over to Kings Island, and he wrote, and I snapped this picture with my iPhone of him and his sister Natalie on the front row. And you know what I knew about Logan? If he loved it the first time, he's going to be fine. If he didn't like it, that's it. He'll never ride a roller coaster. But he gets off and I go, what'd you think? And he goes, that was intense. I loved it. So he wanted to go ride some other coasters. And so we went and we rode Racer, which is the coaster I rode growing up. And then he rode the Bat. And he always wanted his picture with a sign of these coasters. I'm like, what's with the whole sign thing? He goes, Dad, that's proof that I conquered it. I'm like, all right. So he was conquering these coasters. He rode Vortex that goes upside down. They take a little picture on roller coasters. Here's me and Logan riding upside down on Vortex. Only one of us looks terrified, and it's not him. And so that summer, he rode every coaster at Kings Island. Unbelievable breakthrough. And he was getting so much more confident. We were so proud. He got a map of the park, and he would X off each one when he rode it, when he conquered his fears. And the story takes an interesting turn. We go back to school in the fall. My wife and I went in for our first IEP meeting with his special ed teachers. And they're like, all right, what happened to Logan? And I'm like, I don't know. What happened to Logan? They're like, he's not afraid of loud noises anymore. He's communicating better. He's looking right in the eye of the teachers. He's so much more confident. What happened? I said, well, he rode all the roller coasters at Kings Island this summer. And they said, no, he didn't. I go, yes, he did. They said, look, it says right here in his file, this kid's afraid of loud noises, strangers, crowds, some fast moving things. I go, I don't know what to tell you, but he chose an activity that's all of those things. And I give his teachers a lot of credit because they said, what you're doing at home is helping him more than what we're doing in school. And so they wrote it into his development plan that we could pull him out of school anytime to go to a theme park for therapy. It was awesome. And they're like, Mr. Joyner, do you ever get to travel for your work? And I'm like, all the time. So I started like, hey, I fly to these places to speak at conferences. My clients are paying for my, my airfare and my hotel and my rental car. Bringing Logan's just some flyer miles. Let's bring them along. So the first park we went to besides Kings Island was Knott's Berry Farm in California. It's part of the Cedar Fair chain. And so we went there. I brought Logan and his sister Natalie. And that's when Logan said, hey, Dad, I want to start a YouTube channel. And I said, I didn't really know what that is. I'm like, oh, what is that going to cost? He goes, it doesn't cost anything. It's like a TV channel that you have on YouTube. I never even heard of such. I knew YouTube was videos on the internet. I didn't know what a channel was. And I said, okay, how's it going to work? He said, I want to call it Coaster Kids with a K and a K. I said, okay. He goes, and I want to ride coasters and tell people about them and rate them on the LSS. And I said, what's the LSS? He said, it's the Logan Scream Scale of 0 to 5. A coaster that's not very scary, it gets 1 scream. A coaster that's super intense gets 5 screams. And I'm like, okay. And I said, well, I'll be the cameraman. You do the talk. He's like, well, I ain't doing all the talking. And so, Natalie, can you help? So Logan and Natalie started making these videos. We put it on YouTube, and I thought, maybe, Grandma and Grandpa would like to see this. Maybe, Logan's teachers. I'll get some of my friends to subscribe. We started going to parks and making videos. We went for spring break. We went to Carowinds down in Charlotte. We went to King's Dominion that's down in Virginia Beach area. We went up to Cedar Point. Oh, that was a big one, right? Cedar Point, roller coaster capital of the world. And Logan and Maddie making these videos and putting them on YouTube, Coaster Kids. But you know what? They started getting subscribers. People started watching these videos and leaving comments about how they liked them. People started saying, wow, if you can ride this, Logan, I can ride it. This is so inspirational. And the subscribers they got to 30. And then they got to 50. And then they got to 80. And when Logan got to 80, he goes, hey, Dad, someday I want to go to Europe. Some of the best coasters in the world are in Europe. And I'm like, Logan, you can't just go to Europe, man, to ride roller coasters. I said, I'll make you a deal. If you ever get to 10,000 subscribers and 1 million views of your videos, I'll take you to Europe and we'll ride a bunch of coasters. You have my word. It's a promise. And, I thought 10,000 was a lot. Come to find out, it's really not that much. I mean, that's more than I got for my channel. But it started growing and growing and growing. We had a local graphic artist named Chris Warner who designed a logo for Coaster Kids. And Logan started selling T-shirts. We set up a website, and Logan's selling T-shirts. And we're mailing them all around the country. And then we started mailing them all around the world. Like somebody in Switzerland wants a Coaster Kids T-shirt. Somebody in Australia wants one of these shirts. It's unbelievable. And it started really, really growing, and the subscribers got up to a few hundred, and I was blown away by this. And Logan said, one day he said, hey, Dad, we should do a meetup. I said, what's a meetup? He goes, it's a YouTube thing. You tell your fans where you're going to be, and they meet you there, and they get a chance to meet you. And I go, oh, you have fans now? He goes, well, yeah. And I go, all right. So they made a video. Hey, if you want to meet Logan and Natalie, meet us at Kings Island at 10:30 on Wednesday. We'll be by the fountains. And I remember tucking Logan into bed that night, and I go, dude, the night before, if nobody shows up, please don't be upset. He goes, no, Dad, some kids on the internet say they're coming. I said, well, let me tell you something about kids on the internet. They can't be trusted. Just because they say they're coming doesn't mean their parents are actually going to bring them to Kings Island. And so we get there that day, and all these people start showing up. Oh my gosh, it's Logan from Coaster Kids. They want to meet him. They want to get their picture. And oh my gosh, right? And these parents are like, oh, my kid gets so inspired by watching Logan. And so we did a meetup at Kings Island. We did one at Cedar Point. We started doing these meetups wherever we would go. And the channel kept growing and growing. Then the media caught some wind of it, and people started coming to the parks. Whenever we travel somewhere, local media would come.
It's half about roller coasters and half about courage. Like some people have fears controlling their life so they can't live to the fullest?
12-year-old Logan Joyner and his dad Jeff, they're traveling the country riding roller coasters. Really my dream. When we caught up with them at Six Flags Great America, they were on their 12th park in 12 days. They're using their love of roller coasters to help make a difference in other kids' lives.
So I used to hate roller coasters. I was so scared I would never ride any of them. But at age 9, I decided to be brave and ride Snoopy's Flying Ace aerial chase at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio, and I loved it. And I've just been riding bigger, badder, and faster coasters ever since. Each time they watch my videos, they become less scared of what they're afraid of.
What started as a kid posting a few videos about his favorite coasters has turned into a movement. He has 11,000 subscribers, many of them kids just like him, drawn to his bigger message. It's called the Be Brave Challenge.
Where we challenge people to do something they're afraid of, do something that makes them uncomfortable. And some examples are riding a coaster, holding a snake if you're afraid of snakes, riding a skateboard. You can even apologize to somebody. And every time they do something like that, they're always so proud of themselves. And that's something that makes me feel great.
Kids from all over are sending Logan their own videos, conquering their fears and sharing their success with the world.
The Coaster Kids campaign aims to help other kids face their fears just as Logan faced his own.
It just feels so good that I'm actually making a difference in someone else's lives.
That's as good as it gets.
Logan, the day that he hit 10,000 subscribers, he came in my room and he said, hey, Dad, I hit 10,000. I know you're a man of your word. When are we going to Europe? I was like, well, I guess we're going to Europe. And so in 2018, Logan and I went on a trip to Europe, and we brought a couple other friends of his that were other coaster enthusiasts and YouTubers. But we went to 21 theme parks in 22 days in Spain and Italy and Germany and the Netherlands and Sweden and the UK. And it was a trip of a lifetime. It was such a great father-son experience. I'll never forget those memories. Maybe I'll make another video about some of the crazy things that happened on that trip. But the part that really touched me and blew me away was that at 19 of those 21 parks, local coaster kids came out wearing shirts they bought from Logan's website, wanting to meet Logan. And the parents talking to me about how Logan has inspired and encouraged their kids. And over and over we heard, that these parents were like, yeah, my kid was always kind of shy. He was always the dorky kid who liked coasters when none of his friends did. And then they said, oh, Dad, that boy from America is just like me. And the people that he was just like, that he was connecting to and inspiring, it's been the most unbelievable journey I've ever been a part of. That's how Logan has met a lot of his best friends. The story recently took an interesting turn that we were making a video at Kings Island one day when about a year and a half ago, and Logan all of a sudden took off his Coaster Kid shirt and put it on inside out. And I go, what are you doing, Logan? And he goes, well, there's some kids from my high school over there. And I go, yeah? He goes, it's embarrassing. I go, what do you mean it's embarrassing? You got a YouTube channel with 30,000 subscribers? Trust me, they wish they did. And he's like, it's just embarrassing. So the next day we were talking about it, and I said, what do you love and what do you hate about Coaster Kids? And he said, well, I love that I get to help people. I love that I've made so many friends doing this. What do you hate? He goes, I hate the name. Coaster Kids with a K and a K. It's so stupid. I go, well, you came up with it. He said, yeah, when I was in 4th grade. He said, Dad, how'd you like to come up with something when you're 9 years old and now you're famous all around the world for it? I said, well, that's an interesting point. And he would end all his videos by saying, be brave and ride on, which is on the t-shirt here. And Logan screams, he goes, it's all just so kiddie. And so we decided he wanted to start a new channel. And but we didn't want to just get rid of Coaster Kids because it's impacted so many families. And so we spent some time and energy figuring out how to do this, but we converted Coaster Kids into a nonprofit charity. And so Coaster Kids is now a 501c3 nonprofit. You can check it out. You go to coasterkids.org. And see, we have a board of directors, and Logan and Natalie are both on the board of directors. Natalie's in college now, and some other parents who mostly are parents of kids whose lives were impacted by Coaster Kids. But Coaster Kids Charity is focused on the mission of helping kids feel the thrill and pride that comes with overcoming your fears. And so we're going to be doing some charity meetups at parks to help kids that are. We've just found that riding roller coasters is a very safe way to face your fears. And so it's a pretty awesome thing. Logan's new channel he started is called Thrills United. And he's like, I still love roller coasters, but I want to do other thrilling stuff too, like bungee jumping and skydiving and scuba diving and cliff jumping. And this kid's a daredevil now. I went from being the scaredest kid to like total daredevil. His first video for Thrills United was him and one of his friends bungee jumping off a 240-foot tall bridge. Like, hey, let's put a rubber band on our ankles and jump off a bridge. And he did it twice. And he blows me away. And to see the growth that he's had over the years, let me show you a couple clips. This is a kid who, when he was 4 years old, couldn't even talk. But making all these videos, being around all these strangers, being forced to meeting people, it's been so developmental for him. Right? The first year it was putting his words into ideas was really a struggle. The next year was when strangers started showing up and wanting to meet him and forced him out of his comfort zone to meet strangers and talk to him, and then the media getting involved. But the whole thing has been so developmental for him. Let me show you a little clip here of kind of his progress over the 5-6 years that we've been doing this.
In our honor of our 100 subscribers, we're doing our water park edition at Kings Island, Soak City. We are in first in line, ready to go to Kings Dominion and experience some amazingness. Hey guys, welcome to Kosher Kids. I'm Logan. Hey guys, it's Logan from Kosher Kids.
Hey guys, it's Logan from Kosher Kids. Hey guys, it's Logan, and it is now January 2019.
Hey everyone, it's Logan. Hey guys, it's Logan, and I'm assuming...
How amazing is that? When Logan was in 6th grade, they tested him, and he was in the 99th percentile of all the 6th graders in America for reading and speaking in front of the class. He's now done some motivational speaking events where he'll get up and talk about overcoming fears, about customer service, about building a team. He's got a team of Coaster Kids ambassadors all around the world that are helping him grow the charity. He's got a team of Thrills United regional reps. These are kids like him around the world who love roller coasters, but also love doing thrilling things. And it's just, this whole project has been the most amazing thing I've ever been part of. I'm really, really proud of it. And I'd love if maybe you've heard this story before, maybe you haven't, but I love it if you checked out the Coaster Kids charity. We still have a Coaster Kids website and YouTube channel, but go check out Logan's channel too. It's called Thrills United, and give him subscribe to him. You can click to get notified when he makes a new video. Him and his friends are really doing some pretty cool stuff on that channel.